everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is HauteLeMode, and today on HauteLeMode we are doing something a little bit different. We are doing a fashion roast and review, but it is of the Bal de Débutantes, which is a debutante ball that is held in Paris every year and has about 20 or so young debutantes from around the world who are from rather wealthy, famous, or aristocratic families, and they show up in couture-level gowns to have a great night. Now, in the past year or two, Le Bal, as it's commonly called, essentially has gone kind of viral on TikTok. I've seen a few of the TikToks about it, and so I was like, listen, let's do this. But also, it did happen in late November, so we're a little bit late in that regard. So for just a bit of context about debutante ball, which started in the 1800s, the late 1800s, and the debutante balls originally were a British concoction, explains a lot, that were held as ways to show off young women to society so they could essentially get married. It's pretty much a cattle call, but with like fancy dresses and expensive jewelry. Eventually these debutante balls went away, but in the 1990s, a woman named Ophélie Renoir brought it back essentially as a way to sort of modernize it, which I respect. Now, that doesn't mean that you have just anybody off the street showing up to the ball. That's not the case. There are only about 20 or so women invited to attend the ball, and usually they are of notable either fame, fortune, or aristocratic standing, or they've like done something kind of important, so they get invited. And on top of it, they wear dresses from some of the most sought-after designers in the world, and a lot of the time they actually wear haute couture. It feels like something I should talk about. And then after last year, when one of the young debs, as they're called, the debs, not debutantes, it's a deb, she showed up in Iris Van Herpen, and I was like, we gotta discuss. We are going to get into these 21 debs looks, and we're gonna explain a little bit about who they are and where they come from as we go on. Considering how rich everybody is, camera quality should be better. First up, we had Aditi Bharadwaj, who is wearing Sabyasachi. Aditi belongs to the Bharadwaj family, which is one of the oldest industrial families in India, and they date back to the 1800s. But Aditi is actually also studying in London to become a psychologist, so the more you know. Now, she is wearing this red floor-length gown by Sabyasachi, which is one of the preeminent designers and haute couturiers in India. And her jewelry is by V Muse. Now, I don't really know much about V Muse, but I know that they jewelified most of these young debs. So it's pretty much a floor-length fitted red gown. It seems to be covered in some sort of embellishment, I would presume a sequin, and it also seems to be covered in some sort of 3D floral applique. The pictures are really grainy, so like I can't get up close and personal to see what's actually going on there, so I do apologize, and that seems to be a little bit of what's going on for most of the looks. As much as I would have loved like full ball gown experience, I think that it fits really well. It looks nice on her. You know, I'm not like completely sold on the jewelry pairing. I don't think that the gold necklace is bad. The arm bracelet bangle situation, I'm not really understanding where that's playing in with what's going on either at the neck or on the dress. But listen, I just want to say, like, for the nepos, no offense to the nepos, because this is kind of what it is. This is NepoCon. I just have higher standards. Next up, we have Angelina Jordan, who is a Norwegian singer. Now, she appeared on Norway's Got Talent, and then since then, she has essentially become very much so famed around the world and sung for a bunch of people and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, I hated both of her dresses so much it hurt my soul. From my understanding, she seems to be one of the least like nepo-y of the whole experience. Like, I don't know that she necessarily comes from a super duper wealthy, aristocratic, famous family. I think that she is the one that kind of brought herself out. This could not be the truth. If you have anything you want to add contextually about any of these young women and their families and their histories, the comment section is open. I am here. I will read all of the comments. I would be intrigued. So the thing is, she wore two different dresses. One of them is this turquoise Dolce & Gabbana draped dress, and then she has like a crown on, and like I like the crown. I think the crown's cute. It's beautiful. It's gold. It has some sort of emeralds in green on top. It's just like the dress is kind of, again, blah. It's not really that interesting. It's also Dolce, so like even if it is Dolce, I don't really like get what we're going for. But then there was like a second dress that she wore, and I will say that with the second dress, it seems like she matched a necklace to the actual tiara, and like I like that. I think it's cute. I think that the green work well off of each other, and she has beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes. So I think that she knows what she's doing jewelry-wise. The dress I don't know what this is. I can't tell if this is Dolce or not, but this strapless ruched dress, it's bad. I don't like it at all. I mean, just the way that it's a horizontal gathering and texture on the actual sort of cocktail length of it, and then as soon as we hit the knee or right above the knee, it goes full vertical gathering. Despise. It looks cheap, tacky, looks like you could have got it just about anywhere, and like, I want a little more. I need a little more. Something pizzazzy. Next up, we had Anya Empirikos, and she is wearing Celia Krithriarodi. Honestly, I kind of love it. Anya seems to come from one of the very famous and well-known Greek shipping families. Now, if you don't really know much about the Greek shipping industry, I don't, but I do know that Jackie Kennedy eventually became Jackie Kennedy Onassis because she was married to Aristotle Onassis. Aristotle was at one point the richest man in the world, and he was a Greek shipping magnate. He was so rich that just for Jackie to get Chanel No. 5 bottles of it, he would send like a private jet to just go to Paris, pick up like a shit ton of bottles and then bring them back. So it was like Uber Eats, but for billionaires. So I assume that Anya exists in that realm. Anya is studying in school somewhere in California, but I like this dress. I think it's cute. I think it's a little sexy for this event, but at the same time, like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because I think that texture, I think that material, I think that there's a little bit of drama going on, a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of interest. The plunge, really beautiful. I think that the little halter neck style is really cute. I think that the draping that sort of goes vertically down as we move down the plunge works. And then in order to cut off that vertical texture, we wrap this little sort of waist skirt situation in a horizontal manner that brings not only this sort of consistency of this texture, but also at the same time, it allows us to focus on that waist area. There's a high slit. I don't really love the starfish. You know, maybe it's because she's Greek. I don't know how much Greeks love starfishes. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'm not sure. A little kitsch. I think the color really works. I do feel like it somewhat fits into this idea of a more modern debutante kind of look. It's in a beautiful, rich, gorgeous taffeta. I do understand where that sort of wealthy element, luxury, handcraftiness comes in, but at the same time, it feels like something a young woman would actually pick out if her mother wasn't like on top of her in order to say, no, you can't wear that. Or her father. I will say, again, it's a little kind of fine. It's not really like wowing me. It's just kind of happening. I can get it. I can understand it. It's cool. It's cute. I do like it. I want a little bit more thought going in, but we can move on. People with very long names, no offense, get that shit under control because it's a little bit much. Because next up we have Eden Lepravost Bilin Lepreton. The lepras seem a little redundant, but to each. And she is wearing Nathan. Now, apparently Eden is the daughter of very famous professional French horse riders. I can't really find anything out about like family history from Google, but I feel like for rich people, being really good at horse riding is enough. So as for the dress, strapless, beautiful ball gown silhouette. It looks a little bit mossy. It looks like, oh no, she's been sleeping for such a long time. This little small patch of moss turned into a big patch of moss all over her body because she was just kind of laying about for a little bit too long. It's okay. I don't know. I'm not really like jazzed by it. I do think that I guess it depends on the picture taken and like the silhouette, because from the front, it looks like she's resting and she's this beautiful sort of blanket of moss covering her body. And I really like that idea and that aesthetic, and that's really beautiful. But then we look at it from the side when she's like doing her little walk thing, and it feels a little bit yikes. Doesn't look as great, as glorious, as wonderful. And then on the side of the dress at the bodice area, we can see that organdy experience doesn't run all the way around that bodice. And so it kind of like throws off the experience and excitement and wonder. I do really love the skirt. I think it's a beautiful skirt. It looks absolutely gorgeous from the front. When she's posed properly, I do think that bodice looks spectacular. I'm not really like gagged, but like, again, it's cute. It's okay. It doesn't offend me. Next up, we have Elizabeth Webster, and she is wearing Carolina Herrera. Now, she is from South Carolina, and her parents are known as philanthropists and socialites within her community. That's really, really interesting. But Elizabeth, I think, was invited because she actually won an award at a state mock legislative conference where she helped pass a bill to protect rape victims. So shout out to Elizabeth. We stand. Now, as for the dress, it is, again, this beautiful sort of ball gown silhouette, which I will say, again, like, I do like the ball gowns. I think it's fun. I think it's cute. It's a nice throwback It seems to be that the base of this dress is in this really light little purple, maybe like a lilac of sorts. And I want to say that it is fully decked out in black lace, but it's actually not. I'm pretty positive it's not. It seems to be some sort of black print that then has fabric sewn on top of it to create a floral motif throughout, which I will say I do think is really pretty. I do think lines up with the whole aesthetic of this debutante ball. I do think bringing that old world aesthetic and all that conservatism, not like in political experiences, but like conservative dress, like I'm not really mad about that. As for the black organdy sash that runs across the top of the dress, don't love it. Personally, I'm not really sold on it. I think it's a little bit big on her left side. At the same time, the way that it sort of runs down the waist, it's a little, I don't know, a little clunky. I'm not really completely sold on it. Not completely sold. Love the dress otherwise. Think it's really pretty. Think it's really beautiful. Think it fits in with the whole vibe. But a little clunky, a little dumpy. I don't know. I'm not really going to recognize that as well pay. Next up, we have Ella McCall, who is an American horse racing prodigy. She is wearing a gown by Fauvery. It is in this very sort of Cinderella blue, and it's full of gathered and draped and pulled little pieces and layers and frills and tiers of chiffon. So at the bust area, we can see that this drape is very sheer and it exposes the bust area underneath, but there's this asymmetrical little neckline that froths up. It's not as high as it was on the runway, but I think also that's pretty smart, to be completely honest. Models have very long necks. I understand it. As we hit the waist area, it falls into this asymmetrical sort of tiered peplum situation. Not completely sold on it. I like the idea. I like the concept. That's a lie. I don't really like the idea. I don't really like the concept. I'm just trying to be nice. It's a choice. It was made. You know, I appreciate that we're at least making choices. But as we move down, there is a floor-length skirt underneath that, and for some reason, when she's walking, the little chiffon element sort of falls away from the middle, and we can see the skirt underneath. It's not terrible. It's just not really good. I do love the picture of her sitting down in it. I think that's really beautiful. I think that really gives this wonderful, full, lovely, cascading blue effect to it. It's just when she's standing up, I don't really love it nearly as much. I don't really know what to do about that, you know what I mean? I love the man next to her though. He's wearing great little Scottish fit, kilting it up in the Argyles. Listen, if she is happy in it, I'm happy for her to be happy in it. I don't love it, but you know, again, as much as like nepo baby, I don't really want to like tap, baby. They're still young people with lives and stuff. So like, take me a little bit serious, but like, don't take me that serious because who am I? If you're a nepo baby, keep scrolling. But I know it seems like I don't have a heart for the most part, but like, I don't want to be like mean to like children that are in college. Also, like, they keep this event seemingly on like the down low a little bit. So like, I'm not, you know, I don't want to be like too mean. I don't want to contribute to anybody's depression, okay? Next up, we have Hannah Hussein, who is wearing Elie Saab. Now, Hannah is of Pakistani descent, and she apparently is the first Pakistani woman to actually be invited to the ball. Apparently, her great-great-grandfather, Sir Fazi Hussein, was a barrister from Cambridge. He was the education minister and the founder of the Unionist Party in India. I don't know what most of that means. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I just want to say. But as for what's going on in the looks, I think this is cute. Again, it's full ball gown silhouette. I don't mind that. I think that's sweet. I think that works. I think that's kind of like what we should be going for at a debutante ball. Listen, I love a little sexy hot girl party, but like leave that to like the Ivy League or the Cambridge or the Oxford or the NYU holiday parties that like college students apparently do, where you like dress up and you party with all your friends and you wear nice outfits. You know what I mean? Do it there. Here, give me glamour, give me drama, give me pannier, I can't walk through the door because my skirt's so big. We have one night to do that, ever. So like, go for it. And so here, I think this is pretty good. I do love the fact that normal ball gown strapless styles can feel a little bit simple when you see them again and again and again. So I love the fact that Elie Saab has done this really beautiful floral applique style that actually covers the bust area on both sides. As we move around the rest of the bodice, there is these embellishments and appliques placed over top. And then there seems to be the gathering of this big, beautiful ball gown skirt. And still, it's covered in all of these embellishments and appliques, which I think is kind of a smart way of not having anybody, you know, see that seam, but still then breaking into this ball gown skirt silhouette. I think it's okay. I think it's cute. I think it works. I think that it fits the bill of what this probably kind of should be to a degree. And at the same time, it seems like there's a little bit of intrigue and interest and prettiness all built into the way that we are exemplifying the bust area and the waist as well. I like the necklace. I think it works. I think it's cute. Having a big necklace like that when you're wearing strapless styles is always kind of sweet. Overall, I like it. It's cute. Next up, we have Jasmine Yen, who is wearing George Obika. Now, she is the daughter of Donnie Yen, who is a famous actor. He was in Star Wars, as well as the daughter of model Sissy Wang. Now, she is a singer, and she did actually sing at the ball, so that's why you see her, holding a mic. This dress, I think it's okay. Fits the ball gown silhouette. I understand that. I see that. It seems like we also have a little bit of a plunging neckline going on. It's cute. It's okay. But the dress is made up majoritively of a very sheer sort of white chiffon, and then there is embroidery of florals throughout it. I just don't really think it makes like much of a mark in terms of remembering or feeling exciting. I also don't really love the bling bling strap that sort of moves down and then sort of sits around the waist as well. I understand like maybe we need a strap, we want a strap and all that sort of, I just don't really get where the silver is coming in. It feels a little bit, say us the dress, bling waist belt to me. And that's like a point I don't like to get into unless somebody's getting married. And so here I feel the exact same. I also I don't love the necklace. I think, listen, strapless, great, wonderful, beautiful, big, gorgeous. And I like the idea of the plunge being there. So we're trying to get that necklace to like dip in there a little bit. It looks a little bit too busy. I also think with the hair choice, I really don't talk about hair a lot, obviously, but I just feel like with the hair choice, it's kind of tumbling down. You have the hair and also the strap and also the necklace all fighting for prime real estate, which is clavicle area there. And it just feels like not loving this one at all. Sorry. Next up, we have Comtesse Honor de Andelao Hamburg. See, I'm like resisting the urge to do the Belgo. I apologize, Honor. I'm sure you get that a lot. But she is wearing this beautiful strapless silver Stéphane Roland gown. I feel like we're getting somewhere. So I don't really know much about Honor's background, but I did do some Googling. Apparently the Comtesse de Andelao was essentially in the court of Marie Antoinette herself. So I have a feeling that that's probably a little bit why you got that Comtesse title. So, yeah. Here's the thing. The French girls, they turn it out. We'll get into that a little bit more, but the Frenchies, they know what they're doing. But this Stéphane Roland gown, I love it. Listen, the bodice, beautiful, fitted, gorgeous, lovely, and you have this really lovely organdy silver that definitely reflects the light in a gorgeous manner, but across it asymmetrically is this gold leaf or feather applique. It's just one long piece, and I think it's a nice way of doing it. Normally I'd kind of be something about the gold reflecting off of the silver, and that sort of ability to say, we're just going to do the gold here. That's it. And it's simple and it's easy. It's nice. It's cute. And then on top of it, I love the silhouette of the skirt. It's really beautiful. It's really stunning. It has this beautiful oval shape to it. The way that it gathers up top gives the ability for the light to really reflect off of it so beautifully. From the back, you have this big, long, beautiful, sprawling train. I don't know. I think there's something about the French. Historically, the French have been very proud of fashion, textiles, things like that. They know how to do it. And also, I would say that if you were in the court of Marie Antoinette, your family has had a lot of time to curate taste. We weren't working the fields or anything, but I mean, you got a lot of time. And so here, I don't know. I think it looks good. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's a little bit experimental, petit avant-garde, but at the same time, it feels well within the silhouette and the posturing of high society and debutante-ness. So I love it. Maybe does she match with the stairwell, gold leaves? Yeah, sure. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to call it a reference and be content. Next up, we have Laura Connor. Now, she is the daughter of Marina Rust, who is a Vogue contributing editor, and also her dad is an investment banker. She is American, and she's wearing Carolina Herrera. I love this. I think it's cute. I think it's perfect, honestly, for the event. And I think that this, weirdly enough, this gorgeous sort of fall away silhouette from Carolina is the perfect way to capture that historical Carolina silhouette and also very debutante ball sort of silhouette, this gorgeous ball gown style. But at the same time, it's fun and it's young and it's frilly and it's carefree. It's nice. So up top, we have this dark blue that is sitting over top of the strapless bodice. We can see all of the seams and the lines and the darts running through it. As we get to around I don't know, like the top of the pelvic region. The dark blue starts to fall away, and then we can see, and what is exposed is a light blue of this chiffon. I don't know, it feels almost like when you crack open a mineral. All the colors sort of pour out of said mineral if you're lucky. I've never cracked open a mineral, but I feel like that's kind of what we're going for here. It's kind of like a rainbow gradient detail effect. And I think it's really chic, and I think it's really cool. I feel like we saw that in recent Carolina Herrera collections. I feel like it's fall 2022, but I love the silhouette on this version. I think it's beautiful. I love the way that there's that dramatic fall away of the dark blue as well. I just think it captures a youthful take on a silhouette that can read a little bit old, a little bit old-fashioned, a little bit conservative. And I think that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking for. Like, yes, do conservative, do old school, old glamour, great grandma, whatever, only their great grandma. I do genuinely think at the same time, like, modernizing it, making it a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting is cool. Also having your mom be like a contributing editor to Vogue probably helps you in the taste department. So Laura's doing it. All right, next up we have like the it girl of the debutante world. We have Laura Cosima Henkel von Donnersmark, and she is wearing Jean Paul Gaultier, and we're going to get into the JPG look after, because like ITGIRL, she knows she is that girl. Excuse me. She is a countess. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. Money can't buy you class, you know what I mean? She is the daughter of the Oscar-winning film director Florian Henkel von Donnersmark, best known for writing and directing The Lives of Others. But the thing is, Laura is very much so TikTok famous. So I don't know if you guys were on the talk and you guys are just scrolling mindlessly as I do, but there were these videos coming up on my TikTok of this young woman in this like beautiful palatial estate apartment situation in Paris, and she was like a Dior intern, and I was like, when I was interning, nobody was letting me take pictures of shit. So I don't know how she did it. But then everybody found out that Laura is in fact a nepo baby, and I think like a German countess. They were upset. If you're gonna do nepo baby, which they're gonna do, they're not gonna stop doing this. So if you're gonna do nepo baby, do it right. Do it well, do it good, and serve us a look. Laura is doing that. So here's the thing. She showed up, and apparently like she cut her hair, which I love. I love that hair. It's great. It's fantastic. It's stunning. She showed up in this beautiful gray gown with this gorgeous diaphanous skirt, this gorgeous diaphanous train, and the bodice of it has a little heart. The gold sort of strands of embroidery flow out of it. Feels very, I'm going to say Catholic art, Christian art, coded heart with a heart inside of a heart. It just feels very referencing Christianity, Renaissance paintings, Renaissance art. And so then I was kind of doing my Google, and I was like, oh, it's Jean Paul Gaultier, cute. And then I did more Googles, and I was like, oh my God, she's wearing Gaultier, spring 2007, which is one of like the most iconic Gaultier collections. So Gaultier in that collection references a bunch of very Christian, Renaissance, Catholic art, iconography, stained glass, things like that. The idea of halos, the idea of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. It was really, really beautiful. And I know people are going to say, well, you know, it's my religion, but at the same time, like the French, historically, pretty Catholic. The French aren't like super duper religious. Like I think they have a respect for their history of religiousness and the art and artistic elements and endeavors that the church has brought out of France. I mean, like Notre Dame, they love that shit. There's not this like crazy fanatic religious zeal that they have here in America. So I think that's probably why Gaultier did what he did. It was in reality, examining probably Catholicism and the history of it within France and the way that it intersects with artistic endeavors and has done historically. I love this dress. I love it so much. It's so beautiful. And the thing is, when I first saw it on her, I was like, oh shit, like she looks fire. She looks beautiful. She looks great. She looks stunning. And then I saw the fact that it was a pretty stellar look. Kylie Minogue actually wore this dress. So on top of that, like you have layers of the referencing as well. But it's also just like from a really A, controversial, B, really kind of iconic Gaultier collection. So knows what she's doing. She's layering. She not only looks good, but also she's bringing a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of reference, a little bit of cultural clout to the outfit as well. When we look at these debutante balls, I would say I want to look back a little bit more at like in the 50s and 60s, there was this idea of the international best dressed list. I feel like this might be the time that we like bring that bad boy back because Laura would be on it because this is a look. And if you're going to nepo baby it properly. Do it well because like you don't really have any excuse not to, and I think Laura is raising the bar. Next up we have Louisa Dub. Now she is a model. She's a model with IMG, I believe. She comes from a family from New York. I'm pretty positive. Her dad, maybe possibly investment banker, human being person. I can't really find which one is which. Long story short, she's wearing Ralph Lauren. Now, I was kind of intrigued by this because when I was going through, I was like, this doesn't really look like recent Ralph, but it's actually Ralph from, I'm pretty positive, the fall 2013 collection, and Helena Bonham Carter also wore this Ralph dress, so like I was intrigued. And that's a big question I have about this event, and I don't really know, is like, are the girls buying, or are they like getting the dresses from the designers? Because Ralph, it's like, Ralph I feel like wouldn't really be selling this now. I feel like maybe if you got it from a vintage dealer, that makes sense. Or maybe they pulled it out of the archive, so like then she didn't really like buy it, she just kind of is pulling it and it's like a styling thing. So I don't really know, I'm intrigued. It's not my favorite dress, no offense. The strapless style, it's there. She's a beautiful girl, so like obviously she can pull it off, but I just think from the waist down, this like big frill that is like somewhat silky and then really, really silky. I just don't love it. I don't really think it's that chic. I don't really think it's super cute. I like Ralph. I like navy blue. It just doesn't deliver. It doesn't really feel super exciting. It doesn't really feel super glamorous. And I don't know. She's a model. You could sell it. You could give it to me all, Louisa. So I don't know. A little bit sad. It's just not really super memorable and or exciting or super duper fun to look at. To me. Next up we have the Marchesa Barbara Berlingeri. Now here's the thing. She is known as Bibi and she is from Venice. The other thing is like a Marchesa, I love a Marchesa. I don't mean the fashion brand Marchesa, I mean like the nobility title Marchesa. The Marchesa Casati. She is the girl, it girl, love her, cafe society, thank goodness. But also she is wearing Giambattista Valli, which for Barbara, it kind of makes sense. Like she's Italian, Giambattista Valli is Italian. I get it. Now, Bibi lives in the Canova Palazzo with her family, which is in Venice, and it's like a very exclusive palazzo. And like also, I think they own the whole palazzo and they rent it out, which like Venice, expensive. Palazzos, also very expensive. I think that's kind of maybe why she's possibly on this list. But she's wearing this one shoulder draped bodice dress with a little bit of a flounced peplum and then floor length skirt. I don't love the peplum. Not like a tulle confection, so like I guess that's intriguing. I'm just like not jazzed about the peplum. Not really jazzed about the one shoulder either. The skirt's okay. The peplum and the bodice, I don't love them. I think a peplum's tough, and I'm just intrigued. The peplum choice is going on here today, so it's not for me. Happy for ye if you're loving, but not for me. Next up we have Olivia Ford Uzzielli. Now I'm pretty positive that she's like of the Ford, Henry T. Ford. Maybe not Henry T. Ford, just Ford cars. Honestly though, it kind of makes sense. I know that the last name also is Uzzielli, but at the same time, like if you're gonna be, I don't know, like American royalty of some sort. You know, we have like a few royal families here. You got like Astors, but like they don't really exist that much anymore. You got Rockefellers, those do exist. Carnegies, I don't really know. You don't really have too many Vanderbilts. I don't think that there's like a couple, but not a lot. Like Anderson's not even really a Vanderbilt per se. He is, but like the last name isn't. But the Ford makes sense. I understand it. I see it. And the fact that they chose Oscar, I also think makes sense. I would say that there are a few brands that are sort of those American luxury gown makers. It's Oscar, it's Carolina, Dennis Basso, I guess, on occasion. But Oscar, I get it. So it's a strapless style and it's covered in gold and silver little butterfly appliques. I think it's cute. I think it's smart. I think it fits in with the Oscar aesthetic that we normally see. A lot of the times it's flower styles, but I think that the butterflies also works. It fits into that sort of very feminine idea and aesthetic that goes into the Oscar look. It's a very sort of beige style, so it's not really popping with color. It's letting the butterflies really do the talking. But I think that they do a decent job of it, to be completely honest. I like the way that they're really, really heavy up top. It reminds me of like when a cluster of monarch butterflies are like sitting on trees, in South America, and then they all like wake up and they're like, whoa, oh my God, we gotta go up north. And then they fly. So that's feels like what's happening. And then slowly but surely, as the monarchs like fall off of the tree, they flutter down and they're less dense. And I feel like that's what's happening with the dress. And I think it's a cute idea. I like it. I think that the appliques are really actually quite beautiful. It works to me. Next up we have Princess Lissi Selassie of Ethiopia, and she is wearing Lanvin. Now I'm pretty positive that her grandfather was the emperor of Ethiopia. It says a lot. But the thing is, she's wearing this Lanvin white gown. It feels pretty, I would say 30s to a degree. I think that the drape think that the texture was very Lanvin-esque. That little bit of the blouse over, again, reads Lanvin to me. And then I do like the little ruffle of the hem. I think that's cute. I like the way that it is a subtle high-low. Thing that upsets me about the dress is the fact that I looked it up. It's like 100% polyester. And it costs 8,000 euro for polyester. That's crazy town. That's insane to me. That's nutty but gutty. Do I think that it's full ball gown silhouette? No. But do I think that it feels a little bit old world? You know what I mean? Like, I would rather obviously be like a real Lanvin rather than like a polyester Lanvin by whoever. I don't hate the silhouette. I think that it fits that gown style, but at the same time, it references old world aesthetics and it really doesn't feel too crazy in your face, but at the same time, it doesn't like hurt my eyeballs either. It has a nice reference point. I'm going to take it, but also I hope she didn't pay for that because she got robbed. Highway robbery. Next up, we have the Princess of Hungary and the Archduchess of Austria, Ildiko Habsburg, Bingen, Alexis. Whole lot of words. Whole lot of word salad. And she's wearing Alexis Mobile. I hate this dress more than I hate most of them. I get that she's an Archduchess. She's a working royal. I get it. I still hate it, but I get it. I think that they're supposed to be a little bit more chill, toned down, all that stuff. I do hate it. Like, if you're gonna waste taxpayer money, at least waste it well. But I get that this is like, please don't be mad at us using your taxes, if that's the case. If it's not the case, it's even worse. It's a bad dress. It's this long sleeves, collared, button-down shirt style, but it's like a full gown in this silk. It's just like the darts everywhere, kind of like hurting my eyes a little bit. Dowdy, but like not good dowdy, like dowdy. I don't think it's cute. I like the skirt idea. I like the emphasis of all that jazz, and that's wonderful. But like, nobody's talking to like Zach Posen. Nobody's in contact with that man at all for this kind of event. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do it, again, like, this is what I mean. Like, do it right. Look chic. Look elegant. I don't ever want to look like that. Seems like a setup. Next up, we have Roxy Jia, and she's wearing Frank Sorbier. It's, again, another strapless floor-length gown. This one's a little bit more intriguing, though, because it's a black, blue, red, black, red, blue, black, red stripe situation. It's full length. It seems to be that from, I would say, the neckline to around the shin area is this intriguing textile. I don't really know what it is. It looks almost like yarns, and they look bubbly, and they look like they've been heat manipulated or something. Like, they look weird. They look like boils, but like, I kind of love it. I'm intrigued by it. And then right below that is some sort of chiffon skirt of like red, fuchsia, maybe like a little bit of blue in there. I don't love the dress, but I like the fact that it's weird. I like that it's a little wacky. I like that it's something that I can't really wrap my head around. The jewelry's okay. I don't really love it, but at the same time, it's not like super bad. I think I'm focusing so much on the dress itself that like I don't really have time to look anywhere else because I'm just so perplexed by it. But also I can't find any other pictures of Roxy. So like, again, guys, we're doing this debutante ball thing. Like, at least like give us a picture. I need a couple angles so I can examine. Please. Next up, we have Sky Wong, who is essentially the descendant of bankers on both sides of her family. One was the founder of the Bank of East Asia, and the other one was the founder of the Hang Seng Bank. Both are the oldest and largest banks in Hong Kong. From what I know about the girly pops in Hong Kong, they turned it out. So I'm not really surprised by the fact that she wore this red Vivienne Westwood draped gown. I don't really love it. I don't hate it, but again, I don't really love it. And listen, just because it's Westwood, that's great and that's wonderful and all that jazz. But something about like the one shoulder or one off the shoulder strap, I like don't really love. And then the draping of the dress, I'm just like not, again, obsessed with. I don't think it's super memorable. I do love the necklace. I think that's really, really beautiful. I think that works really, really well and really pops off of the red of the dress. It's just the dress itself. It's nice and it's pretty and it's gorgeous, but it's not dynamic or memorable. And like, it doesn't even feel like it's, oh my God, that's Vivienne Westwood. That's just where I'm at kind of nowadays with Westwood sometimes. And maybe this is old, maybe this is vintage, maybe this is from the store. I don't really know. Maybe it's more commercial. I think it feels much more commercial, but there's just something about this draped style that like, yes, it's Westwood, but like, is it reading as Westwood? No, not really. I don't know. From the front, I'm totally gagged by it, but I love the necklace. That looks great. Next up, we have Talitha Stern, and she essentially is from a family of 16th century merchant bankers from Germany, but she's also British. Also, like, she's a skier. So, again, rich people sports, they're happening. Now, she is wearing a black floor-length Christian Dior Haute Couture ball gown. It's pretty semi-sheer up top, and it has a scoop neckline, but as we hit the actual skirt itself, it most definitely gives you old school Dior, beautiful full-length ball gown silhouette, and there's feathers that are kind of plastered all across the midsection, but as you move down, that kind of loses its luster a little bit. I don't know, I don't love it. It's Maria Grazia for Dior, so like, and only on very rare occasions do I really think those dresses really like deliver. So it's not really her fault, to be completely honest. I do think it fits her immaculately, looks happy in it, so I'm happy for her. It's just the dress itself, I don't know. Next up, we have Victoria Mestres's Neros, and she is wearing Antonio Grimaldi. Now, Victoria is from one of the most prominent families in Venezuela. This is Neros's. They, I think, own a bunch of conglomerate stuff. Like, I also think maybe they partially own, like, Pepsi. Now, as for this Antonio Grimaldi dress, it's a strapless style with a band of pink feathers that are rather full, so I appreciate that. At the hip area, I don't love that part, but there's also a train of these feathers as well that flow down the back. And the thing is, like, I wish it was rather like a cape style or something. I just think that band across the hip area is weird. It's like a panty. It's like a feather panty that nobody asked for. I don't really understand why we did that. Again, like, if she's happy, I'm happy. The Toff. So I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I think it's Toff. And it's the fact that, like, British people that are very well off and aristocratic, they have all this stuff. They have these estates and they have these houses and blah, 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 blah. But, like, they have terrible taste. Awful taste. God awful taste. They don't know what to do with all of their money. And I feel like a lot of these looks is giving that. So that's a little upsetting to me. Because we got a lot of money. Just don't really know what we're doing with it. This feels like an example of that. I do have to say, though, I do like the necklace. I think it's cute. I think it's really beautiful. And, like, to be fair, she does look really pretty and she looks like she's smiling. She looks like she's really happy. So, like, again, I don't want anybody to take any of my jargon super serious. It's just like, I don't love the dress. Sorry. And last but not least, we have Evette Yao, and she is wearing Armani Privé. Now, Yvette's grandmother is Alice King, and she founded one of the first contemporary art galleries in Hong Kong. And her uncle, Tung Chi Hua, was actually the first chief executive of Hong Kong. Again, I don't know what that means, so I apologize. But the thing is, Yvette said, taste. Here's the thing. This Armani Privé dress, I'm pretty positive it's from the runway, and then also was actually worn, I think, to an award show in recent years, probably like in the past year or two. But this little icy blue tealish dress, it's lovely. It's floor length. It's beautiful. It hits the floor in this beautiful sort of flow. And then it's covered entirely in gold, pink, and blue embroidery and appliques of flowers. I love it. I love the way that it reflects the light off of it, not only the embroidery and the applique, but also just the fabric itself. And then as we reach the bottom of the dress, we can see that there is also a print of the blue and the pink, a little bit of red and some gold in there as well to sort of keep that idea up. I think it's a pretty dress. I think it looks really nice on her. I think that it's a pretty stellar look. Mr. Armani knows how to fit, so here it really does fit her so well. It looks good. But that is our Bal de Débutantes 2023 fashion roast and review. Let's talk about, you know what, I don't know, they're young. I'm not really going to do best and worst. I don't think that's super duper nice. We came into it, we said what we said, we'll leave it there. But please let me know if you guys like these kinds of videos, if you want me to do them year in, year out. Maybe if you want me to do one from last year because we missed that one, I would happily do that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next video, and TT, bye.